Honestly, when I think about it, before the drugs, before girls, before YouTube and the internet, I had hip-hop. I guess music in general, but in particular hip-hop music. I wasn't the stereotypical listener. I grew up in the 90s, and I don't think that age of the music is really the first thing a person pictures. But that was me. Still in elementary school, sneak listening to the Slim Shady LP. That was hip-hop. But I mean, really, is hip-hop even the word to describe it anymore? They called it rap when I was growing up, and now I hear people call it everything from trap to mumble rap, and it's grown to be so much more than it used to be. Hip-hop began as a way of people to express themselves who had no other means to express themselves. And whether it's old Afrika Bambaataa or Vanilla Ice or Lil Yachty, in my opinion, it's all the same. An expression. A feeling. As a kid, I never knew that Eminem rapping about how pissed off he was or Tupac talking about pregnant teenagers was such a new age of music. It was normal for me. But as I got older and the internet became more prominent, my world was opened up to a time where hip-hop was barely starting to blossom. It was like I was combing through hundreds of hours of stories I couldn't hear about anywhere else. And it didn't have to do with me always having a lot in common with what the music was saying either. I mean, I could listen to Illmatic and hear about guns and gangster shit, and it would somehow reflect the feelings I had from mean kids at school or being mad my parents were arguing. I was hooked after that. And I've done school reports over the years and did my own research just because I was interested in this so much. I've always thought it was pretty cut and dry how hip-hop began. I guess that's normally what happens when you read past the first Wikipedia page when doing research, something I only recently learned. But little did I know there were multiple theories, and I realized there really is no way to know for sure how hip-hop, at least the musical form of hip-hop, began. So smoke something, drink something, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it, comment below and let me know what you think, and let's get into the history and truth of hip-hop. But what is hip-hop? That's kind of a hard question. The actual definition ranges from a genre of music young black and Mexican kids started in the late 70s, to literally just expressing yourself any way possible, even when something or someone doesn't want you to. To me, it's both. It started as a music and grew into something much more. From DJ scratching and mixing break beats to b-boying or breakdancing to graffiti, these are all forms of expression that didn't have any rules or regulations. It was an art of storytelling created by people who had no other means to do so. Yes, there are many aspects to hip-hop, and I could do hours of content on this topic, but in particular for this video, I'd like to talk about the origin of the music, which in my opinion was the origin of it all. When doing research for this video, I saw there were many different people saying many different things about the origin of hip-hop. In my opinion, it's a combination of all these theories along with the society needing a way to express themselves. But you tell me. The first and most popular theory of how hip-hop began is from the influence of Jamaican dance halls and their art of toasting at parties. Most parties of this time would have a selector or a DJ to play the music and a DJ or an MC/singer of sorts to toast while the music was played. This included melodic singing along with clever wordplay intended to hype up the crowd and get the party started, basically like a hype man. Jamaican immigrants brought this art form with them to where it all started, New York City. In the 1970s, a Jamaican immigrant by the name of Clive Campbell started it all. You may or may not know him as DJ Kool Herc. At 1520 Sedgwick Avenue, Herc mixed samples of existing records and DJ'd percussion breaks, mixing in his own Jamaican-style toasting to hype up the crowd. There are articles that describe a particular party Herc and his sister threw on August 11, 1973. After a summer of working on his particular style, this party put Herc in front of the biggest crowd he'd ever played in front of and the loudest system he'd ever played on. It is said that the success of that party would begin a grassroots musical revolution, 6 years before the term hip-hop even entered the popular vocabulary. When it came to the music, the thing that DJ Kool Herc was doing that had never been done before was looping particular drum breaks of certain songs and stretching them much longer than those breaks originally were. In a way, it's kind of hard to explain, so I'll just let him describe it.
Herc was one of the first DJs in the Bronx to borrow a technique from Manhattan's downtown discotheques, the use of 2 turntables. This meant DJs could play music without interruption, mixing from the end of one record straight into the beginning of another. But unlike other DJs, Herc didn't play disco music. Instead, he specialized in the kind of hard-edged funk music that others ignored.
Yeah, I remember going to the Herc parties, and that started in the community room, and it grew so big that we couldn't fit in the community room anymore. And music was just, it was slamming. I was trying to think about what would be, I guess, synonymous with a Kool Herc party. It would have to be James Brown. Clap your hands, stomp your feet. It wasn't a Kool Herc party. Without
have a very party here.
Exactly.
What singled out Herc as a DJ was his keen eye for crowd reaction. He noticed that the energy on the dance floor hit a peak during the instrumental breaks in the records, the point when the singing stops and the music carries on. From this simple observation, Herc came up with an idea that would become the basis of hip-hop.
One night, I'm waiting for the record to play out. I said, I wonder if I put that to myself. I said, if they're waiting for this particular break and I have a couple more records that's got the same breakup in it, I wonder how would it be if I put them all together. And I told them, I said, I'm going to try something new tonight. I'm going to call it a merry-go-round.
Herc's merry-go-round meant that instead of playing whole records, he would play just the instrumental breaks, mixing between them to create a continuous dance rhythm.
I started out with James Brown, clap your hand, stomp your feet. That part right there, when the break, boom, I had to come in with bongo rock. Bongo rock was still no vocals in it, and I would go into Baby Huey, the Mexican. And it was like, whoa, I think we got some hit, because people was like, oh, whoa, everybody was like, yeah, I'm feeling this, oh, yeah,
The instrumental breaks on the records became known as the break beats, and Herc's merry-go-round formula of mixing between them provided the blueprint for a new music.
Oh man, Kool Herc was the first person I ever heard that do anything like that, Because I'm used to being in the house with my mother and we put a James Brown record on and just let it play through. Kool Herc would play the break part back and forth, and that really astonished me. I was really impressed when I seen that, something like that, because I'd never seen anything like that before.
DJ Kool Herc's use of the merry-go-round mixing style, along with his use of the Jamaican dancehall toasting, is what I've always known to be the true origin story, and for the most part, there are only a few people who debate this. Some argue that the origin of hip-hop music had nothing to do with DJ Kool Herc, Jamaican dancehall toasting, or New York at all. Some say the actual musical form of rapping can go back to the early 1940s. There are videos of singers like Louis Jordan that are really hard to dispute as not being a form of rapping. I mean, check it out, you tell me.
Now kids, your mother used to fix your lunch, and you'd come to school and all you'd get was reading and writing and arithmetic. But the world has progressed now, and now the only way you gotta have a beat. Now children, let Brother Jordan tell you how to be reached with everyone you meet. Just get in the groove with that boogie-woogie move, cause today you gotta have a beat. People today is full of rhythm. It's in their head or either in their feet. So you better wake up and get with them, cause today you gotta have a beat. The world is full of competition, and you've gotta be strong to compete. If you don't know what it's about, you'll soon find out that you really gotta have a beat. The truest thing ever been said is that history always repeats. Because there was a time when jazz was in line, but today you gotta have the beat.
There are also others like the Zulu Nation and DJ Hollywood who claim Kool Herc was not the first to do things like talking to his crowd in a clever way. Even the merry-go-round style of mixing is debated. The leaders of the Zulu Nation recently put out a statement claiming Kool Herc and his team know this and are actually propagating the theory he was the true originator of hip-hop for personal gain. These Zulu Nation affiliates also claim their leader, Afrika Bambaataa, is the true originator. And if we're talking about the culture, I would honestly have to say I mostly agree. Bambaata's story is very long, and he's done many things to help transition a culture out of gang life and into the hip-hop life. You can't take that away from him. But in doing research about this, I found there are multiple claims of sexual assault on children over the years. I couldn't believe it. It was apparently a known thing, and it really just threw me off of even doing more research on him at all. Like I said, they are claims, but yeah. Like, seriously, what the fuck is going on with the world? How common is this bullshit? Okay, we're getting off topic now. But when it comes to hip hop, was it really that simple? Was it just a house party that DJ Kool Herc and his sister threw? Of course not. It's so many different things wrapped into one. You have poetry, you have hard-hitting beats, you have disco music and Caribbean dub, and there were just so many different things that influenced what we call hip hop today. Partying, having fun, MCing, toasting, it was all done before. Hip hop is literally a fucking melting pot with a bunch of shit thrown in it, which became something of its own. It's like a monster we created, and I fucking love it. And like I said, this video I really just wanted to concentrate on the actual origin of the music. We could talk for hours about the other aspects of hip hop, but really I'm just starting to see a wave of new hip hop that doesn't really understand or appreciate or care about where we came from. It's funny because I've seen interviews with Lil Yachty and even talking to my younger brother. It's like, they just don't know about early hip hop. And I think about it like, shit, I didn't even know. It took me hours of research to really understand. So hopefully this video can kind of give you guys an idea of how it got here and how it's still here. Check out the merchandise to help support the channel. It's really the only way that we can continue to do these type of videos. Smoke something, drink something, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Comment below and let me know what you thought. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Shout out to everybody who supports on Patreon. You guys are the shit. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.